Welcome to this video. In this video I will be showing you how to build an Android app for custom image classification using the latest version of the TensorFlow app. Now I've already made a tutorial on this previously, but that was for the older version of the TensorFlow app. So for the new one, let's get started. So there are 6 steps. First we'll go to Teachable Machine. That is what we will be using to train our image classification model. Get started. Image project. Now right now we will be doing it for this one, the one on the left, standard image model. The one on the right is for microcontrollers, but we'll be focusing on standard image model for now. Click on this. Now over here set the name of the class. Now as in my previous tutorials, I'll be using 2 classes, with mask and without mask. You can upload the image samples using webcam, or just select the image dataset. I have it on my desktop. Upload. Okay, now for second class, set the name, upload the dataset, and that is it. I only have 2 classes. Now if you have more, you can add more classes over here. Add a class. Now you can simply start the training process by clicking on this button, train model. Okay, since I don't have a very big data set, only 690 images for each class approximately, so it's not a very huge data set. 50 epochs will be fine. That will also give us pretty decent results, so you can tweak these values if you would like. Okay, so alright, let's begin. It will start preparing the training data and then start training your model. Okay, so it has started the training process. Don't switch tabs. Okay, training an image classification model does not take very long. You'll see this is pretty quick, and also as I mentioned earlier, my data set is not that huge, so this will be done very quickly. So let's wait for it. Okay, so you can test your model over here in the preview screen. You can test it using any image that you want or your own webcam. So let me put on my mask. Okay, so as you can see, this is showing me with mask right now. Let me remove the mask, without mask, with mask, without mask, with mask. So okay, this is perfect. Let's stop this and go over to export model. Now over here you have 3 tabs: TensorFlow.js, TensorFlow and TensorFlow Lite. First what you have to do is upload your model. Just click on upload my model. It will give you a shareable link that will also be included in this code, all these code snippets down here. Okay, so your cloud model is up to date, and this is the link for your model. It creates a temporary link where it uploads the model. You can use this in these code snippets below. As you will see, it already has this link over here. You can also test it in the p5.js code snippet and test it using the p5.js web editor. Okay, this has the default day-night model over here. You can just copy and paste this code and test your model over here. Okay, you can also download this model. Next, moving on to the TensorFlow tab, there are 2 model conversion types, keras and saved model. Now this has also given us this code snippet that we can use. Okay, just download these models from over here if you are using either of these. keras or saved model. You can also run these on your own local machine. Of course, you'll have to install these packages to make this code snippet work. Okay, next, the thing that we want right now is TensorFlow Lite that we will be using to deploy on our Android device. So there are three model conversion types for this: floating point, quantized, and HTPU. I'll be using floating point and quantized. So first, let's download the floating point model. Okay, while it is converting, the instructions over here are a bit outdated. So this is for the old TensorFlow app. There is not much difference in the new TensorFlow app. In fact, it is a lot much better, a lot much simpler. So just follow along. Okay, and next I'll download the quantized model for it. Okay, so it has downloaded the quantized model as well. Now let's head over to our article. Now we have finished step 4. Now head on over to step 5. Download the TF-Lite model and add metadata to it. So if you'll see in the previous version of the TensorFlow app, there was this option to give the path to the labels.txt file that has the names of your classes. But for the latest TensorFlow image classification sample app, it does not have any such scenario where you can give the path to the labels file. So what you'll have to do, you'll have to attach metadata to the TF-Lite model so that it knows the names of the classes. Of course, there's also other information attached in the metadata, the description of the model, etc. So that is what we'll be doing next. Now you can close this, and this is the sample app that we'll be using. I've already given the link to it at the top over here. Okay, we unzip this, both these models. This is the floating point model. Let's just name it model.tflite. Copy both these files to the desktop. Do the same for the quantized model. I'll change the name of this to model_quant just so it is easier to differentiate. Now copy this, paste this at the desktop. Okay, we have the models and the labels file as well. This is the labels file that Teachable Machine creates. It also adds the index number. You can simply remove these. Now make sure these classes are in the same order that they were trained in. So okay, save this, close this. Now to add metadata, you can use this COLAB notebook, or also you can use the Python script file that comes along with this image classification sample app. You'll see this inside this metadata folder, the metadata writer for image classifier.py. Okay, if you open the readme script, you will see this one is for mobilenet v1 160 into 160 0.75 quantized model. So we'll have to make some changes for our model. As I know, for Teachable Machine, the model that is exported is mobilenet v2. So I've also mentioned this on my article. As you will read over here, Teachable Machine only supports mobilenet model, and that is mobilenet v2. So okay, open this, save a copy in drive, connect. Okay, step 1, create a folder in your Google Drive named metadata. So I'll open my drive over here. Okay, so once in your drive, create a folder named metadata. and then create another folder named model with metadata inside the metadata folder. Model with metadata, just so it is easier to differentiate. You can name it whatever you want. Now mount drive and navigate to the metadata folder. Connect to Google Drive. Okay, next step, upload the following 3 files to the metadata folder: the image classifier.py Python script file, your models, tflight models, and the labels.txt file. Okay, so and then we'll be making changes in the metadata writer for image classifier Python script file. Okay, let's do that. Now I already have this image classification sample app on my desktop. Over here I have this Python script file right here. Let's upload this. And then next, let's upload all our models: the quantized model, the floating point, and the labels file. Okay, that's done. Now you can also access it from over here in your drive. Metadata. This is the Python script that we use to write metadata. Okay, so over here there are a few changes that you need to make. First, this is what the name of the model will be. So first I'll be doing it for the floating point model. The name for it is model.tflight, so I'll keep the name as it is. This is mobilenet version 2 v1. Okay, and the image width is 224. As I know, that is the image width and height for the mobilenet v2 model that is exported by a Teachable Machine. So set it to 224, and this is number of classes. So this is for the sample image classification app that is trained on the ImageNet dataset, which has 1,000 classes plus the background class. So right now, since this is for our custom app, so I only have 2 classes. Set this to 2, and over here you can change the description. Okay, I'll just leave it as it is because this is just for test purposes, and that is it. Save it. We'll close this. Next step, install TFLite support. And finally run the Python script using the following command. Now Python metadata writer for image classifier.py. Model file is the path to the model we are writing the metadata on, so that is model.tflight. Label file labels.txt, just check. Okay, that's all right. And then finally the export directory, it will save the final model with the metadata attached to it in this folder. Just run it. Okay, the associated file that has been packed to the model is labels.txt. So the class names have been attached along with the metadata. Open this, we have this model over here. Now do the same for the quantized version. We open the script again. Make sure to change the name. Model underscore quant, as we will be using this one. And okay, rest everything is the same. Save it. Now give the model file input here as model underscore quant. and run the command again. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it has created this model underscore quant.tflight model as well, along with model.tflight. So let's head over to the desktop and delete these files. You can download these. As these have metadata attached to them. So bring these over to the desktop. Okay, so that is it. We are done with this step. You can close this notebook. We're done with step 5, and finally moving on to the last step, that is download the TensorFlow sample image classification app from over here and then adjust your TF-Lite models for it. So let's begin. Now I will be using the Android Java version of this. Let me open Android Studio. Okay, let it finish building. Now I have opened the Android Java version of this image classification sample app, this one, inside Android Studio. This one is in Kotlin, so you can use that one. Okay, so it has finished building. Head over to the article. So we've done this. Okay, now next build the project to create the assets folder and download all the default models for the image classification sample app. So I'll also be using the default models for the ImageNet dataset that have been trained for the default sample image classification app. Now if you don't want to use the default models, you can comment out this line in the build.gradle file. Let me show you. For the module app, build.gradle, you can comment out this line. Now since I'll be using the sample image classification models as well, I won't comment that line. Now let me show you the download underscore models.gradle file. It downloads these models: mobilenet with metadata, efficientnet light 0, light 1 and light 2. So if you're commenting out the line, make sure that you build the assets folder inside this directory, inside the main directory. Let's go inside. App source main. You'll see there is no assets folder over here. You can create an assets folder over here manually, or if you click on make project, it will build the project and create the assets folder here automatically. Okay, so that's done. The Gradle build finished. Now you'll see it has created this assets folder over here and it has downloaded these models. Okay, for the sample image classification app, you can run this on a virtual device and test it, or you can run it on your Android device. Now I want to add my custom TF-Lite models to it for with mask and without mask classification. So let's do that. We're done with this. Next, make changes in the code as mentioned below. First, you need to add the names of your models to the model name function in image classifier helper.java file. Go inside Java, image classifier helper, go down below to this. Now we need to add our own models over here. I'll call this my custom model, and the other one is my custom quantized model. Okay, and set the names of these: model.tflight, model underscore quant.tflight. These are showing in red. We need to add these at the top. Okay, my custom model, my custom underscore quant model. Now you have to set the index numbers of these in the order you want them to appear in the image classification sample app drop down. So I'll set mine to 0 and 1 because I want them to appear at the top. Okay, you can set it however you want, but make sure to use that order everywhere. Okay, now we're done with this. Okay, we're done with this. Now next, okay, if you have a Kotlin app version, you can do this. Add it to model name and companion object. Okay, that's done. Now second, we have to edit our strings.xml file to include the names of our models so that it will appear in the drop down. Go inside res values strings.xml. You can give whatever name you want here: my custom model, my custom quantized model. Okay, so that's done. That's saved. Close this. Now we're done. You can run this on a virtual device first before testing it on an Android device. So let's do that. Run it. Now while it install this on a virtual device, let's head over back to the article. We're done with this. That was the last step, and after testing it on the virtual device, you can finally connect an Android device and test it on that, and then you can make any changes to it later on. If you want to make any customizations to your custom image classification app, you can do that after that. But okay, we're done with all the steps in the blog. So when it installs the app for the first time, it asks you for permission. Okay, so the launch succeeded. I already had this installed, so it did not ask me for any permission. Okay, I have not copied the models. Make sure to copy your models in this assets folder. And now it will run just fine. I have mentioned this here as well. Copy the models with metadata inside the assets folder, so don't forget to do that. Okay, it is now running the app. So right now obviously this is on a virtual device, so it will throw out garbage values. I just want to see if it changes values. Okay, so bring this up. Now you can change this to the mobilenet v1 model, and this will show the results for the image classification sample app that is trained on the ImageNet dataset. So okay, it is showing this as Studio Couch. Okay, so we're done testing this on a virtual device. Now let's test this on an Android device. Let's close this. Okay, now let's connect an Android device to this. Okay, I have connected my Android device to this. Select your Android device. Now next I want to change this to the front camera, so let's go ahead and do that in Android Studio. Now what I want you to do is go to fragments, camera fragment, go to line number 284 where it says lens facing back, change this to front, and that is it. Run it again on your device, and this time it will run it for your front camera. Okay, so launch succeeded. Let's look at the results. It is showing me without mask right now, with mask, without mask, with mask, without mask. So okay, that is perfect. Let's end this. Okay, so back to our Android Studio, and that is it. Now that is how you make a simple image classification app with your custom TF-Lite model. So we're done with this. Now if you want to make any adjustments or any customizations to this image classification app, you can do that. You can set your own layout, your own functionalities. Now basically this is the basics of how to start building your own image classification Android app using TF-Lite models. So alright, that's it. That was it for this tutorial on how to build an Android app for custom image classification using Teachable Machine, and that was for the latest version of the TensorFlow sample app. So alright, if you've enjoyed this tutorial, please click on the like button and make sure to subscribe to this channel. And alright, I'll see you in the next one.